Good evening. My name is Brittany Coleman, and my focus was the conflict resolution of Israel. Israel was founded May 14th, 1948. The United States President Harry Truman was actually the first official to recognize Israel and endorse Israel's trusteeship. According to the Office of the Historian, the state of Palestine actually threatened to attack Israel almost as soon as the UN passed the partition resolution. Geographically, however, Israel is located in the Middle East. It's actually nestled along the Mediterranean Sea and divided geographically with the state of Palestine. So, as the map indicates, there is a Jewish state and an Arab state. And the Arab state represents Palestine, whereas the Jewish state represents Israel. Outside of the state of Israel, it is surrounded by predominantly Islamic countries such as Egypt, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon. So, as previously stated, Israel is located in the Middle East, and the Middle East has been a hotbed for dissension, and this has been among various ethnic groups and religious groups as well. And this dates back thousands of years, even biblically. Many wars have been fought over religion as well as territorial rights, which only worsened upon the arrival of the Jewish state of Israel. This image depicts the great tension between Israelis, as well as Palestinians, and the conflict that they face trying to coexist within one nation. This is further worsened with the assistance of the United States. As previously mentioned, the United States was a great contributor of Israel's ensuring that they received stateship. And therefore, Israel and the United States have been working closely together. And with that, they have also faced similar fates. Israeli, as well as Black individuals in the United States, have gone through similar ordeals as this image depicts. Israelis wearing the faces of President Obama as well as Martin Luther King, and wearing the shirt "I Have a Dream." Because both individuals have been demonized and dehumanized by their governments, being the majority either in the United States or Israel. And as quoted by Kristen Davis Bailey, the Israeli military will train with police units across the United States. The same private prison companies that detain Palestinians in Israel, which is illegal, also have youth detention facilities in the United States, South Africa, and around the world. So, this happens to be an issue that not only Palestinians are facing, but also Black citizens, that these companies are being invested in by their governments to ensure that they are policed and they are essentially detained and stripped of their rights. The negotiation styles and strategies of the United States as well as Israel are similar, as they enforce sanctions, demands, laws that violate the rights of their oppressed citizens, such as the Palestinians and Blacks. And they have two sets of laws that have historically have ensured this. In the United States, they enforce the Jim Crow laws. And then in Palestine, Israel, it was the occupation of the West Bank. And through the occupation of the West Bank, they actually had Israeli military officials that surrounded the territory. And similar to like the Border Patrol in the United States, they would check the IDs of citizens entering and leaving to ensure that Palestinians remained out. So, with that said, the negotiation strategies of the United States as well as Israel, the United States has attempted to be the mediator of the situation, and unfortunately, not much has been resolved. Israel and Palestine attempted to work together to come to some type of resolution, but negotiations were broken down after Israel delayed, then canceled the planned release of a group of Palestinian prisoners, and the Palestinian Authority applied to the United Nations for membership. As such, negotiations were halted, actually ended. And this was even with the United States serving as a mediator. Now, some have suggested that the United States would be better suited just enforcing a take it or leave it framework agreement that would cause each party, if they did not adhere to the agreement, they would be facing severe consequences. And that may or may not work. I think that has been enforced several times before, and we still have similar situations occurring. Now, with this, the United States has moved into another direction. Since the President Obama has entered office, his administration has been fairly hard on Israel. And he's actually taken a step back and attempted to disengage himself and the United States from the Israeli Palestine conflict. And he wants to move more towards being engaging with other parties, so not being only United States at that mediation table, and that is more a diplomacy as a collective, and really returning back to the core values of the United States. So he is moving to produce, because he does not believe that foreign policy can be enforced and conflict can end through engaging in war and unnecessary violence. Now, within the United States itself, despite the conflicts with its black citizens, the United States has instituted a policy that ensures, even within the Department of the Interior, that facilitates collaboration after assessing the situation and trying to reach a conflict resolution so that capacity building can begin, and involving the parties so they work together to understand and address the issues. So, with that, the United States Environmental Representative attempts to serve as a neutral party to ensure that each individual party is engaging and understanding so that they can reach conflict resolution, which is very different from their approach with Israel and Palestine, which is perhaps the reason why we have not yet seen a solution. But in my humble opinion, I do believe that a solution can be reached, but it would require the United States stepping back and leaving the mediation table altogether. Honestly, the United States is not neutral in this situation, and as we've learned through this course, is that a mediator has to serve as a neutral party. And a truly neutral nation such as Sweden would probably be a better bet to help resume the talks and so that the process proceeds smoothly. Whereas the United States has worked closely with Israel and in fact has contributed billions of dollars annually to military government training and just funding Israel. And so through that funding, there is no way the United States can be neutral when it comes to mediating. And therefore, I think a neutral party will allow Israel as well as Palestine to work together collectively to address the issues that they each have, understand the conflict that has arisen, and hopefully foster a collaborative environment between the two groups so that it becomes a win-win for each party and that they can live together in peace. And that would be ultimately the goal, but I don't think that could happen with the United States currently sitting at the mediating table because they're not neutral, and that's kind of probably the issue as to why things are not moving smoothly within the negotiation process. Thank you so much.